your body to leave an imprint on the blank canvas. So with this idea, imagine the back of the head on your blank canvas. Notice the imprint that it leaves. Notice there may be a space now. As you trace down the body, the beautiful curve of the neck doesn't leave an imprint, right? Or maybe it does in your body. Now, bring your awareness to your shoulders and arms and shoulder blades. See an image of the imprint that your ink, your color, is leaving on your canvas. Some areas the ink will be heavier and thicker because that part of the body is heavier and thicker. You're lying on your back. If you missed that cue, if you're joining late, you're lying on your back. Body scan. Trace down your back and notice maybe there's an indent where the spine is. Maybe you feel areas of the spine that are leaving an imprint on your canvas. Maybe the ribs, maybe not. Bring your awareness down to your sacrum and hips and just notice the imprint your body is leaving on your canvas here. Notice each leg and how its imprint is left. And I know when I do this in my body, it's very imperfect. So being there without judgment, just seeing and trying not even to change anything. Like if you notice that your imprint on the left side is a thicker imprint or a heavier imprint than the right, just notice it. We are stitched together entirely of flaws and good intentions. So perfectly imperfect, right? Your imprint on your canvas will not be symmetrical. Bend your knees. Notice the soles of the feet now on the mat. Maybe notice how your imprint changes just by bending the knees. Now you're going to take your right foot in your left hand. Hold the sole of your right foot in your left hand. Your right arm can just be gentle next to you. And then start to straighten and bend. And straighten is probably not going to happen, but lengthening and bending the knee. So this here we talk about as a closed loop because your hand is holding the foot and both have to move together. So you can see how it's called a closed loop. And just start to explore. Maybe take your foot further over to the right and straighten and bend. And again, don't worry about straight as a goal, but straighter and more bent. And then maybe bring your foot all the way across so it's more like the figure 4. So you bring your foot over to the left and straighten and bend. So this is exploration. Nothing wrong or right. Just play with a couple of different locations as the heel comes up and down. You can stay in one spot. You can take teeny tiny movements, or you can take as big a movement as possible. And then go ahead and release the foot down. And just take a little constructive rest here, just noticing how the body is on the mat. And now you're going to take your right hand behind your head, bend your elbow, take your right hand behind the head, and then bend your right knee and hold the foot again. So left hand holding the sole of your right foot. As you begin to straighten the leg, lift your head and release. So as you bend the knee, the head goes back down. Lifting and releasing. Now again, this is exploration, this is play, this is helping you acquaint with the way your body moves. So you could take a tiny little lift, maybe try and adjust the head, no shoulders, and straighten the leg a little bit. Or you could go big, press the foot up and really peel the shoulders up. So it's important to feel both, right? A lot of times, especially with my background in power yoga, I'm all about the biggest movement, the end of the edge, the most sensation. So it's really good exploration for me to move little and see what that's like and what it's all about and what's there for me. But I still like to move big too. That's just who I am. So just be with that exploration, whatever, maybe a couple more times. Head lifting and leg straightening. And then release both. And then roll over onto your right side and come up to a seat. We're going to take soles of feet together. And you can make sure you can see your camera however you're comfortable. Soles of feet together, knees out. And you can have feet closer together or farther out. In fact, it might be better with a wider space between your ankles and your groin. Take your hands behind you, fingers point away, fingers point behind you. And you're just going to what I call slouch position. So it's almost like you let the background and you let the chin come to the chest and you let the ears and shoulders be close together. It's a little slouchy. It's like your hands are almost like toothpicks. They're just holding you up. Your arms are like toothpicks. And then begin to press into hands, bringing a little bit of rounding to the spine. Inhale, maybe look up, maybe release the head back. And then slowly reverse, coming back to slouch position. Now that's the pattern, so go ahead and move through it. You can move quick or slow. Use the breath to feel more expansion. And just move back and forth between this. And pay attention to your pelvis as you do this. So notice how the low back kind of rounds, and then you'll have to anteriorly tilt the pelvis, like you're pouring water out of the bowl of the pelvis forward as you arc back. A couple more times here. Notice how it changes if you close or open the eyes. And then go ahead and sit up and bring your right foot in front of the left in a cross-legged seat, right shin in front of the left. Find your sits bones, sit up tall. And now you're going to take both of your hands and hold, make like a little sandwich hold, interlace your fingers around your right foot. So both hands interlace around the right foot. This is actually my favorite part of this sequence. You're going to start to straighten the leg. Draw your chin in and round the back. So you might feel a nice stretch between the shoulder blades, and then bring it back and sit up tall. So that's the pattern. And don't forget to explore. You could change if the knee is more out to the right. What does that feel like? If the knee is more out to the left, what does that feel like? So sometimes it's really hard for folks. A lot of you lovely yogis and yoginis have been practicing the asana with me for 5 or more years. And me telling you to explore instead of telling you exactly how to engage your muscles and where to put your body is a challenge. It's a challenge for me. So it's okay. Let yourself be with that if that's coming up for you. Just explore, move around the back, make it big, make it little, feel big sensation, be with little sensation. Maybe a couple more times. And then release and come back onto your back, knees bent for constructive rest. When I say constructive rest, it's all about awareness, right? This gives us a moment just to feel. Actually, I'm gonna flip around. So just feeling into your imprint. So remember, you have ink on your back. How is your imprint now? Maybe this is a new canvas. Maybe something's different on the right side. Maybe it feels a little heavier. Maybe it doesn't. Just notice. And now we're going to play with this little fun roll. So take both hands to the right foot, just like you were in a seated position. You're going to make that little sandwich, interlace your fingers, hold on to the foot. Now with both hands, straighten and bend. So we did a little of this before, but it was left arm only. This time it's both. And again, explore. Take your foot over to the left more and straighten and bend. Line it up with your pubic bone, straighten and bend. Take it over to the right more. The knee comes closer to the floor. What goes on there? If there's ever sharp pain, that's a good indicator that that's not a spot for you to be. Change it up until you don't feel that. And then release that foot to the mat. And take your feet wide, maybe as wide as the mat. And you're just gonna let your left knee fall in to the center and then point it back up toward the ceiling. That's the pattern. So you'll be on the sole of the foot and then you'll fall to the inner edge of the foot. And just find some movement there. You might pause and feel maybe the stretch around the hip bone. I always love that stretch. Whatever pattern works for you in terms of speed, slow or fast. Deepen into your breath. And then we're going to take hold of that right foot again. And let your left knee fall in, just like we were before. You're holding onto your right foot. Let your left knee fall in. You'll start to roll onto your right side, round your back, and come up to a seat. If you need to use that right hand to get there, you can. Now, for me, this took 7 or 8 times to come up. So if you're totally confused, it's okay. And if your body says it's like, I can't do this, just give it a minute, because I think you might be able to find it. So as you come up to seated, your left knee is bent, your right knee is bent, you're holding on to it, and you're gonna come back onto the right and roll onto your back. And now, of course, you can see I'm off my mat, so that will happen. So some tips for coming up are to round your spine as you come up and round it as you go down. The left knee falls in. Can you roll onto the side and come up? And then roll back down. And then roll up. So you might be able to find it as you practice. Maybe a little momentum helps you up. You can use the arm. And then back down. And it's okay to help yourself in whatever way you need to help yourself. And then find yourself on your back again. And you may have to find your mat, because I just rolled away. And now just feel into your imprint, right side. In fact, let's take the legs long and feel into the whole body. Noticing anything on that right side that feels changed or different or the same. So interestingly, it sometimes is hard to let yourself explore, whether it's in art or love or life or body movement or whatever. It's hard to explore without finding self-judgment. So that's part of this practice. It's just letting yourself figure it out and let it go. Bend both knees. Right hand holds the sole of the left foot. Left arm is just next to you, and we'll straighten and bend. Straighten and bend. And again, you know, notice your immediate choice in terms of how straight the leg is, how bent the leg is, and then change it up. Maybe bring your knee over to the left more and straighten and bend, or take little teeny tiny bend and straightens, or big, huge ones, whatever you find some difference in. Maybe take your foot way over to the right so you're more almost like figure four shape, and straighten and bend. And then release your foot down, knees are bent. Take your hands to your hip points, and we're just gonna tilt the pelvis back and forth. So anterior and posterior pelvic tilts. And just feel where your hip points are. Just notice. And then come to stillness. Right hand holds your left foot. Left hand comes behind your head. So remember this from the other side. You're going to lift your head and straighten the leg. And just find a couple different ways to do this in which you can explore your body and your movement. So again, maybe try just the head and a little bit of a straight leg. You could try the head and shoulders and a real push into the foot. Just begin to maybe play with the heel just above the pubic bone, and then you can take it farther over to the left as you lift the head and straighten the leg. So just give yourself permission to explore. Explore the breath. Maybe a couple more. Whatever they look like in your body doesn't matter. It's really about how they feel. And then release. Soles of feet on the mat. Roll over onto your left side and come up to a seat. And again, however you need to be facing to see the screen is fine. Left leg in front of the right leg, cross-legged seat. Oh, sorry, excuse me. I gotta bring the soles of the feet together first. This is one of the best parts, we don't wanna skip it. Soles of feet together, knees out to the side, fingertips point away. Find your slouch position, let the chin come to the chest, round the spine a little bit. Take a breath. And then start to tilt the pelvis forward, press into the hands, lift the chest, lift the gaze, breathe. And exhale, release, come into slouching. Do you ever think you'd be in a yoga class where the teacher tells you to slouch? Lift the chin and lift the chest. Again, this is your movement. You don't have to do it with me. Let yourself have some freedom to play. When we do this, when we allow ourselves freedom to explore and play, the growth is exponential. And then when you're done, sit up tall. Now the left foot in front of the right. And you're going to hold on to that foot with both hands. Interlace your fingers, little sandwich hands. And we're going to tuck the chin in and press the foot long. And then just find what you want to find. Remember to play with the angle of the foot, maybe taking the foot more over to the left or the knee over to the left. And then maybe working it further over to the right. And then maybe taking a big push of the foot and really take the chin in and around the spine. And then maybe just a little tiny one. What's there? So just give yourself permission. Tap into breath. That helps you be really present and aware and vital. Couple more times. Pausing if you like, anywhere along the way. And then release and come onto your back. Constructive rest. Knees are bent. So now we're going to come to that roll. And for me, when I was learning this sequence, I was like, oh no, I don't want to do that roll because I'm not good at it. Don't we do that to ourselves in life, right? Let yourself explore. If you don't come all the way up to a seat, no big deal. Just let yourself play. You know, as a kid, I think we get that kind of taught into us that, oh, we shouldn't try it if we're not good at it. And let's kind of back up from that. All right, let's take the feet wide. And this time we're letting the right knee fall in and bringing it up. So from the sole of the right foot, we fall onto the inner edge of the right foot, and then the knee comes up. So just find a little movement. It could be fast or slow. This interior rotation of the hip I find to be absolutely lovely in my body in terms of a nice stretch up to the right side, but whatever it feels like to you, just be with it. And then we're going to take the hands, both hands, and hold the left foot. Both hands hold the left foot. Right knee falls in. We roll to the right, round the spine, and maybe come up to a seat. Maybe not, it's okay. And again, like I said, sometimes this takes me 5 or 6 times to kind of find the pattern. And use the side of your body. So as you come down so you don't like fall onto your side, roll onto the side of the body and then onto the back. And then let your right knee, so initiate, little cue here, initiate with your right knee as it falls in, initiate, roll your right shoulder so the spine rounds and come up. The right foot doesn't even have to stay on the mat. I find it's not staying on the mat with me. So go ahead and just play. Let go of having it look pretty. Let go of it having it be perfect or accomplishing. Just play. Because once you find it, it's kind of fun. It's like, woo, I can go from my back to my seat. And remember when you were a kid and you kind of figured something out like that. Like, oh, I can do this kind of goofy, fun thing that feels good for no reason other than that I'm doing it. And maybe the last time you come onto your back and you have to find your mat. And then pause with your knees bent and bring your hands to your hip points and find some pelvic tilts. And then rest and just notice the imprint of your beautiful ink color that's painted on your back. How's it imprinting on this canvas? Maybe it's a fresh canvas. And then take your legs long and let the arms fall out. A little mini Shavasana, constructed body scanning here. What's your imprint? Has it changed? Has it stayed the same? Imperfect is perfect. Excellent. Linger a little longer if you like, or we're going to roll on the spine. So go ahead and take your knees into your chest. Fix my microphone here. Take your knees into your chest and just use the momentum of the legs to rock on the spine. So you come to a seat and then you roll back. And then you come to a seat and then you roll back. You're kind of staying in a little ball. And then we're going to take this into a little more intentional core work. So what that will look like is you come up to a seat And you can hold on to, I'm going to hold on to the back of my knees. You can hold on to your shins, however it feels good. Find a little balancing boat here, just floating the toes. So you can feel your core turn on right away. That's your hover point. And then you're going to roll up onto your shoulders and hover. And then roll back and hover. Can you? And then roll back and hover. And then roll up and hover. And then roll back and hover. A couple more times. Again, this is play. So let yourself kind of smile at yourself if it's not perfect. If you can't find the pause, totally okay. Just trying. And then come over onto hands and knees. Take your time. Four-point kneeling or tabletop position. Spread your fingers wide. Activate your shoulders so you can feel the shoulder blades move away from each other. Press into the top of the feet. Feel nice and sturdy in your tabletop. Extend your right leg back. Bend the knee so that the foot comes closer to the seat. And then you're going to take it out to the side and place your right foot next to your right knee. So that's the pattern. We're going to go back and forth. Press into the hands to activate. You'll feel those shoulders turn on. Can you float the leg? Take it out to the side, back around, line the hips up, and bring it down. So we're going to do that 4 more times. Lift, out like hydrant. Place the foot next to the pinky, and then lift, out, back, release. Lift, out, forward. Press into hands, lift, out, back. Lift, out, forward. Lift, out, back, release. Last time, and once we place the foot up top, we're going to stay. So go ahead and lift, hydrant, forward, and stay. We'll cat-cow here. Hands on the mat, inhale, chest lifts. So notice the areas of restriction that come up right away. And then exhale, press the floor away, tuck the chin in, and get all the air out of the lungs. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. Last time, inhale, lift. Exhale, round. Release to neutral. Press the floor away. That will help you with the floating of this foot. Float out to the side and around to release. Feel free to take care of your wrists if you need it, and we'll move to the other side. So these are, there'll be 5 of these with the last one landing, 5 total with the last one landing with the foot beside the pinky for the cat-cow. Inhale, float the left leg, the knee is bent. Hydrant pose out to the side. With intention, step that foot by the pinky. And then press, float, out to the side, back and down. Lift, out, forward, step. Press into hands, float, out, back, and down. Lift, out, forward, place. Press, lift, out, back, and down. Lift, out, and place. Press into the hands, float, out, back, and down. And this one is the one where we're going to stay. Lift, out, forward. Press into hands. And then lift the chest for a breath. We'll start with that. And just notice where you find some restriction. And then exhale, round. Press the hands away. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. One more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. Press into the hands. Float that foot and take it back, around, and down. Love up on your wrists if they need it. Little wrist rolls are fine. And then press into the hands, tuck your toes, and find your downward facing dog. Make your way to the dog and then find some exploration by bending one knee and then the other. And again, this can be fast. or this can be slow. So just what we were doing, we're gonna try to do it from the dog. It's a little more challenging. You'll see what I mean. It's got a little bit of a variation to it, but from the downward facing dog, nice strong hands. Inhale, lift the right leg, bend the knee. We're gonna take it up and tap the right elbow, and then out to the side, press back, bring it in, release the foot. So that's the pattern. We're only gonna do it 3 times on each side. Inhale, right leg lifts, bend the knee, press out the back foot. It'll take you up to the elbow, hover it back, line it up, and set it down. One more time. Lift, bend, float forward, tap, float it back, that's the challenge, and bring it to square to set down. You need to take care of your wrists, as always, please do. Little wrist rolls go a long way. Other side, inhale, left leg lifts. Bend the knee. We're taking it out to the side, shifting forward for plank. Tap, and then keep it out to the side as we press back. Bring it to square and release. If you have just one of these in you, you don't have to go for all 3, but maybe lift, bend, hover, float, tap, press, out, square, release. One more. Lift, bend, come forward and tap. Press into those arms, keep the leg out, and then square, release. Child's pose. Set your knees down, lengthen the arms forward. Whatever variation of child is yummy to you here. We're about to come into our sun salutations. We'll be taking a low lunge variation in our salutations today. From your child's pose, make your way, tuck toes, downward facing dog. Now we'll come into crouching cat. Even if you are choosing not to hop forward, let's come into crouching cat together. Bend your knees, lift your heels, sink your hips. Think about length at the sides of the body. Look forward at the space between the thumbs. Really powerful pose here. This is a deep flexion in the hips. And then if you're gonna walk forward, just straighten the legs and walk forward, or start to get really active and maybe land quietly at the top. If it was loud, that's fine too. Lift to a flat back when you arrive, hands to shins, lengthen your spine, breathe here. Exhale, bow in, release the head. Root down through the feet, put a micro bend in the knees, inhale, sweep all the way to the top, palms touch, reach up, and then hands to prayer. Preparing for sun salutations, we are going to take some core planks. If you'd rather skip them, skip them. Inhale, sweep all the way up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hands to the mat. Right foot steps back, release your knee. Inhale, take your arms overhead. I like to release the back foot, that's up to you. Exhale, hands to the mat. Tuck your right toes, lift your knee. Step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, wave forward to plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Core planks, take them or leave them. Inhale, lift your right leg. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, lift. Exhale, cross. Inhale, lift. Exhale, right. Inhale, lift. Exhale, step through. Release your left knee to the mat. And inhale, reach up. Hips sink low, fingers reach high. Exhale, hands frame the front foot. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, step forward and fold. Inhale to a long spine. Exhale to bow in. Root down through the feet. Inhale, big sweep to the top. Keep your arms high, sink your hips low. Fierce pose, draw your seat back, pull your belly in, broaden your shoulders, spread your fingers, eyes wide open. Shift the weight into your heels so that your toes start to feel light on the mat. Press into the feet to grow tall, palms touch, reach up, look up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale to half lift. Exhale, hands to the mat, left foot steps back. Release your left knee. Release your foot. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to the mat. Lift your back knee. Step to downward facing dog. Inhale, wave forward to plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing. Core planks, take them or leave them. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, lift. Exhale, cross. Inhale, lift. Exhale, left. Inhale, lift. Exhale, step through. Release your right knee down. Release the foot. Inhale, big sweep up. Exhale, frame the front foot. Top the back toes. Step forward and fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, bow in. Soften the knees. Inhale, big sweep to the top. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale to halfway lengthen. Exhale, hands to the mat. Right foot steps back. This time the back heel stays high. Back knee lifted. Inhale, airplane wings. Exhale, arms forward, shoulders back. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, settle. So just notice this is the same position. We're just in a weight bearing position with the back knee lifted. Inhale. Exhale, hands to the mat. Downward facing dog. Inhale, wave forward to plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing. Inhale for core planks. If you're taking them, exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, lift. Exhale, cross. Inhale, lift. Exhale, right. Inhale, lift. Exhale, step through. Inhale to fingertips. Exhale, step forward and fold. Inhale to halfway lengthen. Exhale to bow in. Soften the knees. Inhale, big sweep to the top. Keep your arms high, sink your hips. So feel free to move your feet around. If you want them directly under your hips, you can. If you want them a little closer together, you can. Sink the hips low, pull the belly in, broaden the shoulders, spread the fingers, eyes wide open. Big breath. Reach up. Exhale, dive. Inhale to half lift. Exhale, hands to the mat. Left foot steps back. Back heel stays high. Inhale, airplane wings. Exhale, arms forward. Shoulders drop back. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, deepen the pose. Big breath. Exhale, hands to the mat. Downward facing dog. Inhale, wave forward to plank. Exhale, lower. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing. Core planks last time. Take them or leave them. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, knee to nose. Inhale, lift. Exhale, cross. Inhale, lift. Exhale, left. Inhale, lift. Exhale, step through. Inhale to fingertips. Exhale, step forward and fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, bow. Soften the knees. Inhale, big sweep to the top. Bring your hands to the center of your chest. Close your eyes and just allow your breath to return to a nice, even inhale and exhale. Bend your left knee. Fold from the hips. Keep your right leg long. Bring your left hand in front of your left foot and take your right arm high. So just for clarity, left knee has a little bend. Left fingertips are down. They could be on a block. Right leg is straight. Right arm is high. Lengthen in all directions, except that left knee. Lengthen through your right hand. Lengthen through the neck. Now staying in this twist, you can put a little bend in the right knee too if it helps. You're going to step your left leg back. So finding yourself in a revolved bent knee lunge here. Reaching through the left heel, lengthen through the neck. And then unwind, take both hands to the inside of your foot and release your left knee down to the mat. So just the start of our lizard pose here. If you want to stay up on your hands, you can stay on your hands. If you wanted to come down to your forearms and bow your head, you could do that. An option that I don't always offer is an active lizard. So either on forearms or hands, either one, you could lift your knee. So I have my back toes tucked and my knee is floating. So this is an active lizard and it's just an option. If you're feeling energetic this morning, you might even want to rock forward and back using the control of those back toes. Totally optional. Or you could just release yourself if you're feeling more inclined to that today. Release into the lizard. Whatever you decided, come to your hands if you're not there already, and we're going to step to a side plank modification. So the left hand is going to be the weight-bearing hand. We're going to roll to the left pinky edge of your back foot, and you can either heel toe halfway out to the side with your right foot, or you can take a big step to halfway there. Once you get there, reach the right arm high. If you want, you can lower your hips down and stay here. Or we can make this active. We'll move through a little side body engagement here. So, or you could stay floating, or you could move. Tap, we'll do it 3 times, and lift. Tap and lift. Tap and lift, hover. Breathe. And then take hands down and step to plank. Linger in your plank for a moment, and then you can decide if you want to move through vinyasa or take any other variation of any pose you like. I'll move through vinyasa. Bend the elbows, lower down. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, ending in downward facing dog. You could linger in your child's pose if that's where you're at, that's fine. Wherever you are, catch your breath. Crouching cat. Downward facing dog to crouching cat. Let's all go there, even if you're not gonna hop. If you are gonna walk, you'll just straighten the legs and tiptoe up. If you're gonna hop, you can hop from that cat pose. Once you arrive, bend your right knee, right hand down, left arm up. Lengthen through the neck. Just give yourself a moment in this lovely twist. Right knee bent, left leg long, right hand down, left arm up. And now it's the right leg that's going to step back. So if you need to put a little bend in your left knee to feel safe with that, shoot your right foot back. Right hand is in line with the arch of the left foot. You're in a revolved bent knee lunge. Send weight through your right heel. Breathe, lengthen, commit. And now we're going to step to that half side plank. So if you want to go in one big motion, you can, or if you want to take little heel toe movement to get there, go for it. So it could be just a step back, finding the pinky edge on the back foot, and getting active. So again, you could stay here, floating. This is a nice challenge. You could come down hip on the mat. It's kind of a nice stretch. Or you can move with me. Hip down to start. Lift, tap. Lift, tap. Lift, tap. And then lift to hold. And then take your left hand down. Step back to plank. Hold your plank. And then you can decide, rest or move, child's pose or vinyasa, headstand, handstand, whatever. I'm gonna move through the vinyasa. Lower down, inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. So really make sure that you are taken care of. If you have water and you need water, take that. And we'll all meet eventually in the downward facing dog, but take your time. Downward facing dog to crouching cat. Whether you're hopping or walking, let's pause in our cat. Really lengthen your tail back, press out of your hands. And then walk or hop. Top of the mat. Inhale to halfway lengthen. Exhale to bow. Soften the knees, root down to rise up. Inhale. Hands to prayer. Fierce pigeon pose or standing figure 4. Left leg takes the weight, right ankle over the left knee. Flex your right foot, spread your toes, sink your hips, draw your left hip back a little bit. Keep your right foot engaged, hands at prayer. Eyes in one spot. Even out the breath. Now we're going to try a little bit of a balancing challenge here. So once you feel some space open up in that right hip, press firmly into your left leg to come to stand. Float your right knee up in line with the hip. Tip forward as you send your right leg back. So you're coming into a variation on your Flying Warrior 3. Take your right arm long and your left arm back. Right arm reaching long, left arm reaching back. Active through your right foot. Breathe here. And then take your hands to the mat, standing split. So take your hands down probably in front of and out to the sides of your left foot and really activate your right leg high. Bowing forehead toward your shin. And we're going to do here a little, some options. You could stay in the balance, just working on your standing split, bringing forehead toward the shin, activating your quadriceps, reaching through the toes, or you can take our little curtsies. We'll do 3 of them. Bend the knee, your lifted knee, bend your standing leg, tap the back of the calf with your right knee. Tap and lengthen. Tap and lengthen. Tap and lengthen, hold. And then can you lower your right toes nice and slow? Inhale to low lunge. Exhale to downward facing dog. Opportunity here to rest or move in any way you like. I'm going to take water. You take exactly what you need. So that could be headstand or child's pose or even lying down on the back. Making our way to downward facing dog. Lifting hips nice and high. If you wanted, you could hang out in the cat for a breath or 2, crouching cat. And then go ahead and decide if you want to tiptoe or hop. Top of the mat. Inhale to half lift. Exhale to bow. Soften the knees. Inhale, big sweep to the top, hands to prayer. So fierce pigeon on the other side, right leg taking the weight, left ankle over the right knee, flex the foot, hands to prayer, sink the hips. Just let yourself linger here for a moment. Now, preparing for this little balance challenge, we'll start by activating into the right leg, growing tall, then just bringing the knee in line with the hip and tip forward as you send the leg back. Beautiful. Stay here if you like, or left arm reaches long, right arm reaches back. Take both hands out in front of you, could be on blocks or the floor. Lift your left leg, bow your head toward your shin. So, even if your leg is out here and you're bringing your forehead toward your shin, that's perfectly fine. Eventually, the left leg will start to activate more and you'll find more of a standing split. Just be wherever you are and stay here if you like, or we'll take the little curtsies. So we're bending the lifted leg, we're bending the standing leg, tap the calf with the knee, and then get tall. That's 1. And tap, that's 2. And tap, that's 3. Get long. And then like molasses, set your toes down. Super controlled and slow. Inhale to the lunge and exhale to downward facing dog. Opportunity to rest or move. I'm going to move through vinyasa. Inhale, high plank. Exhale, slow lower. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, step it forward. Bring your hands to the inside of your left foot. We're coming into lizard on this side. So again, you could bring the knee down. You could come to forearms. You could make this as restful or active as you want. You should match it to the other side. If you lifted the knee and came into the active lizard on the right side, you should do that on the left. Bookends to our flow here, lizard pose. And if you are lifted and active and you want to move, you can rock back and forth. I feel like this is a nice active opener for my hip flexors on the right. And then we'll step back, plank, and lower all the way to the belly. Once you get there, look over your right shoulder, arms long by your sides, big toes touch and heels are soft. So that's an important cue in this particular flow. Big toes touch, heels fall out to the sides. And if you find that's a challenge for you, if your heels want to fall together and your toes are more comfortable turned out, that's good information. So again, we never put judgment on the body, but we're always taking in information. So we want to work eventually in the direction of big toes touching and heels falling out to the sides. What that does is it creates space around the sacral bone for all those lovely nerves that come down the leg to be free of impingement. We're going to take one bow pulling pose. So if you are someone who takes 1 foot, usually, I'm just going to have you lift the feet and reach back for the feet. I'll show you what I mean. If you have the feet, go ahead and grab them. So come to your chin, bend your knees, reach back for the feet. If you normally would just grab 1 foot and extend the other foot, I'm just going to have you reach back and point the toes up toward the ceiling. And then when we lift, you can reach back in the direction of the feet. Hold the feet nice and close, or nice and tight rather, if you have them. Thighs together. Whenever you're ready, press the thighs down and lift the chest. So again, you're just reaching your fingertips back in the direction of the toes if you don't have the bind. And release. Take a cheek look over the other shoulder, just let everything go. So again, we can play with this imprint idea for just a moment. We were on the back thinking about how the body meets the surface below, how you yourself leave your imprint on whatever's there, right? So now we have the opportunity to bring the front of the body to this kind of intention. What is your imprint? When I was thinking about this class today in terms of impressions and imprints and how you yourself leave your imprint on the world around you, I was thinking it would actually be really fun to do this, to do the, get a big piece of paper and see your body imprint on it. Come back to your chin, bring your hands under your shoulders and press to a child's pose. Any variation is fine, any depth, any variation. Slowly come up, let your hips come over to the left, legs come around in front of you, and make your way onto your back. Take your time. Bring your right foot off the mat. Curl your toes in toward the arch of the foot. So this is less of an ankle action, and I want it to stay more in the foot. Curl your toes in toward the arch, and then open the toes wide, yogi toes. 2 more times. Curl them in, open them wide. Curl them in, and open them wide. Begin to flex and point. Now we are moving the ankle. Flex and point the right foot. And then take circles when you're feeling ready. Both directions. And then hold on to the back of your right leg and really straighten the leg. And then release the knee so that the foot falls toward the seat. 2 more times. Straighten, release, straighten. It's really a fall. There may be a bounce of the foot. You should just let go. And now keep your right hand on the outside of the leg and take your knee out to the side, holding onto the outside of the leg. Extend your left leg if it feels okay. If you'd rather keep your left leg bent, that's okay too. Left hand taps the left hip onto the floor. And you're just going to straighten this, so we're out to the side here, and bend. 2 more. 1 and 2. Reach, and then bring it in. Now we're going to take hip circles with the right. So you could have the knee bent if you prefer, or long. It'll feel quite different bent or straight if you have the left leg on the mat or bent. It takes more core effort to do it with a straight leg. So just work with what's there for you. And then switch directions with your hip circles. And then hug the thigh in to your belly. And then cross the body. Let your knee cross over to the left. Let gravity take the hip where it wants. Maybe look to the right. Your arms can be in any organic shape that they like. Breathe into the belly. And then slowly come back onto your back. Arms long by your sides. Extend your right leg up. Spread both sets of toes. And lower your right leg to the mat. Nice and slow. Let everything go. Little mini Shavasana before we take the other side. Bend both knees. Lift your left foot off the mat. Curl your toes in toward the arch. And then find yogi toes. Try to keep this in your foot, not the ankle. Curl your toes in. Might almost feel like you're going to cramp in your foot. And then spread the toes. 1 more time. Curl them in. And open them up. And then hold the back of the leg. And flex and point your right foot. And then take circles. You'll go both directions, so it doesn't matter which one you start with. Switch it up. And then really extend the foot toward the ceiling, straight leg, and release. 2 more times. Straight and release. Straight and release. Straighten your right leg on the mat. If it feels okay, right hand taps the right hip down. Let your knee fall out to the left and your left hand catches it. 3 times, straighten and bend. Straighten and bend. Straighten and bend. 1 more time. Straighten and bend. Now again, we're going into the hip circles. So again, you choose right leg straight or bent. And you could use the hand for a little guidance if you wanted, or not. You could keep it all in the hip. And it really doesn't matter which direction you start with. And remember, this could be a tiny little knee circle. If your hip says, no way, it's not feeling stable enough to go for a big, big hip circle, just do a little hip circle. And then switch directions, same thing. Little or big, doesn't matter. Think about stirring the bowl of your hip socket with your femur bone. It's Lovely massage for all those internal attachments. Excellent. Bend your left knee, pull it into your belly, and find your spinal twist. Knee comes across the body. Gravity takes it where it will. Arms fall in whatever organic position they land in, and breathe into the belly. Come back onto your back. Take your time. Extend your left leg straight up. Let's flex those feet, nice active feet. And then lower the left leg down with control. Relax into your final rest of your practice today, Shavasana. And if you like that image of your imprint, find yourself a new canvas. They're always available, right? We have endless blank canvases. And just let your body make its new imprint. It's probably changed in some way. Maybe parts of the body feel heavier. Take a little scan, starting at the back of the head, noticing the shoulders, shoulder blades, the spine itself. Is it touching in more places? Maybe the shoulder blades feel heavier or changed or different. Maybe the hips, legs, arms, hands. You just get to be really present in the imprint you leave on your canvas. Each day, you have the opportunity to pause and consider, what will be my impact today? What impression will I leave? Some days we may look at our canvas and say, today I leave you a soft white. Some days we may feel an intensity that drives us directly for bold ink and big brushes. We may find a color scheme and brush stroke that suits us and soothes us enough that we return to it again and again. Consider the many imprints we leave over a lifetime. How has the world been changed in little ways and big ways, simply by our presence in it? The way in which we may have opened the heart of a lover, opened the mind of a child, hurt the ego of an adversary, fortified the foundation of a friend, built a home, planted a garden, sang a song, offered a helping hand, let someone down, gave someone else permission to give up early, gave someone the strength to go on, broke new ground, turned a light on in a dark room, made someone feel safe, constructed a warm place to lie, fed hungry bellies, weren't there when you should have been, said exactly the right words at exactly the right time, held someone or let someone hold you in utter silence, were there when it mattered most, or weren't. No matter who you are or what your path, you have behind you a beautiful, twisting, winding, flowing pattern of footprints, a record of the actions or inactions you've taken up until now. Ahead of you is a blank canvas. Start today. What will your impact be? What will your impression be? When you're ready, hug your knees into your chest. Roll first onto your right side and pause a moment. Let gratitude wash over you like silk, When you're ready, press to a comfortable seat. Your eyes are closed. Your palms are pressed at the center of your chest. Let's take a big breath in together. On the exhale, bow your forehead toward your fingertips. Slide your thumbs to the third eye center, and we'll bow as one. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with me today. Feel free to ask any questions if anything came up. I wanted to say a couple of things. One is that I was considering doing some live classes in November at the Chandler here in Randolph, and I've actually decided against that. I feel like we may be at kind of a pivotal time in terms of where things go, and I'm just feeling like I don't want to push into that too hard, being aware of my impact. So I'm going to wait till December and play it by ear. So there will be Thursday class will be here in on the Zoom platform, Thursday 4:30 core flow. It's kind of an intense core flow, even maybe sometimes a little more intense than this Sunday practice. It's just an hour practice, and that'll be on Zoom at 4:30 on Thursdays through from November 1st to the end of November. There's not going to be class this coming Thursday, because that would have been my last live class, but the tent had to come down. So I'm taking that Thursday off, and then we'll start in November for Zoom classes. Of course, that is month of Thursday following the Thanksgiving Thursday, so there will only be 3 classes in November. Rest of the classes are normal throughout the rest of the month. And I think that's all. Oh, one other thing I wanted to say to folks, some of you practiced hot vinyasa with me at the studio, and as you may know, and maybe you like it too, a nice hot humid room to practice in. It feels really nice. So, you can, if you have a wood stove, you can practice in the room where the wood stove is, or maybe crank your heat up a tiny bit more for these practices, and put a humidifier in the room, and it can really make the practice have a different feel to it. So just don't forget, if you were a hot yoga lover, you can kind of possibly create that environment. And if you see me really sweating and getting red in the face, it's because I'm going to start to, as the winter approaches, create a hot environment in my own room here. So that's what's going on. Anyway, this class will be posted this evening on the website, and I will be posting some other classes, new classes on the website as well. So